This is the Inferno Podcast, the official podcast of UAB Athletics. Blazer fans, this is the place each week to get an inside look into UAB Athletics. This episode of the Inferno Podcast is brought to you by the Alabama Department of Public Health and Pearl River Resort. Hey, Blazer Nation, welcome in. It's the Inferno Podcast. My name's Landrum Roberts. I'm your host. Here on the Inferno, it's episode 27. We've got an exciting show for you this week. As always, our rundown is brought to you by our friends at Legacy Credit Union, the official credit union of UAB Athletics. We're going to talk football this week. A new member of Coach Trent Dilfer's staff on the defensive side of the ball. NFL veteran. He's coached at the college level, also coached at the high school level. Coach Brent Vieselmeyer. He's going to join us, talk about his arrival to UAB, some things they're implementing and what we can expect for the 2025 season, and also learn about Coach Vies off the field as well. A talented guy on that side of the ball. It's a newcomer to the green and gold. He's a veteran player. Our student athlete of the week, Jalen Cheek, sits in on the Inferno. We'll learn about Jalen, his arrival here in Birmingham, and some of his past and some of the exciting things he's looking forward to bringing Blazer fans this 2025 football season. It's the Inferno Podcast, episode 27. We're so glad you're here. We continue next.
Trent Dilfer here, head football coach of the UAB Blazers. I want to tell you about my friends at Legacy Credit Union. Legacy began as University Credit Union in 1955 and remains committed to UAB faculty, students, alumni, and fans. Not only do they support the Birmingham community, but they are also proud sponsors of UAB and UAB Athletics. Visit LegacyCreditUnion.com and find out why you should become a member today.
The Inferno Podcast, Blazer fans, we've made it really, really easy for you. There's a lot of different ways that you can consume this podcast each and every week, and we certainly appreciate you doing that. But you're going to appreciate it because we're going to keep you up to date on everything going on within the athletics program, the green and gold. YouTube, it's pretty simple. At Inferno Podcast UAB, like, subscribe, ring the bell, tell your family about it, your friends, your neighbors, spread it around the office. This thing is going to catch fire, literally. Appreciate you joining us there on YouTube. But also Instagram, you can find us Inferno_pod on Twitter, or the X if you prefer, at InfernoPod_UAB. On Facebook, that's kind of the OG, right? UAB Athletics. You can find it there on Facebook. And, of course, you can go to UABsports.com. We got links. We've got all different ways. There is no excuse for you to miss the Inferno Podcast.
As UAB athletes, there's nothing we like more than the roar of the crowd.
Around here, we say we win as one.
One.
And to keep cheering for the green and gold.
There's one thing we need from you.
Ask your doctor about an RSV vaccine.
And help protect everyone. Our littlest Blazers and our most seasoned fans are most at risk from RSV.
Ask about your RSV vaccine today.
So we can all stay in the game.
And win as one.
Welcome back into the Inferno Podcast. Landrum Roberts with you here this week in UAB Athletics, brought to you by the Alabama Department of Public Health to help protect all UAB fans. Ask your doctor about your RSV vaccine today so we can all win as one. Huge weekend at Bartow Arena. Men's basketball coming up Sunday, hosting Memphis. Revenge matchup. Must win for the Blazers. 3 o'clock the tip. Make sure you get there early. Hopefully we'll have an exciting and vibrant crowd there inside of Bartow Arena. Women's basketball coming up this weekend, 2 o'clock on Saturday. They're in Denton, Texas, taking on the North Texas Mean Green. Meanwhile, Casey Dunn, UAB baseball, hosting University of North Alabama, Young Memorial Field in a weekend series. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday, first pitch at 2 o'clock. Saturday, a 1 p.m. start, and Sunday at 1 as well. UAB softball, Coach Taylor Smart, Crimson Classic, down the road in Tuscaloosa. Friday, taking on SIUE, 1:30 first pitch. Also on Friday, they're going to take on the Alabama Crimson Tide at 4. On Saturday, UAB will take on Furman. That's a 4 o'clock first pitch. And a rematch with SIUE at 6:30 on Saturday there in Tuscaloosa as well. And then Sunday, wrapping things up and taking on the Alabama Crimson Tide at 1 o'clock. Other sports going on. UAB men's tennis. Sunday, they're going to host Georgia Southern at the Hoover Met Tennis Center. 2 p.m., the scheduled first serve in that one. UAB women's tennis taking on Austin Peay in Clarksville, Tennessee. That coming up Friday at 1 p.m. first serve, and then Sunday at 1 p.m. at Alabama A&M. And UAB track and field, it's the American Conference Indoor Championships, Friday and Saturday at the Birmingham Crossplex. As always, comprehensive schedules, all the latest news. You can find that at uabsports.com. The Inferno podcast continues. Welcome back into the Inferno podcast. Landrum Roberts, your host. It is now time for our Coach's Corner. Coach's Corner is always brought to you by our friends at Pepsi and Viva Health. It's new UAB linebackers coach, NFL veteran assistant coach, Brent Vieselmeyer. Vies, can I call you Vies? Welcome to Birmingham.
Thank you.
Coach Dilfer, he was on with Coach Russ when we had him on, and we got to meet Coach Russ and talk about coming to Birmingham and kind of schematically, philosophically, some ideas for the defense, and all they kept talking about was Vies. Wait until you meet Vies. So, not to put you on the spot, but there are a lot of expectations. You're known as a savant when it comes to college football or NFL, just football knowledge, ball knowledge.
Well, I fooled him, so that was. I'm good at that, but no, I got exposed to a lot of great coaches along the way, so that's been fun, and I've had a sort of unique coaching background. So I've coached actually all three levels now: high school, college, and NFL. So that's been a fun journey for it. But you learn a lot of different things. So you learn to coach a lot of different positions. So
let's go through some of your bio. We'll go to your wiki page, if you will. So. Wisconsin, take us through some of your beginnings, playing ball there, and then how you got into coaching.
Yeah, so I was a preacher's kid who also coached football, so that meant we moved a lot, and I know how to get in trouble. So we moved a bunch around, but we actually ended up settling. My dad was a vice president at Concordia University, Irvine in California. So I sort of grew up Southern California, just south of L.A., We had played high school there, loved it, really wanted to play in college. God did not bless me like Coach Russ or Coach Dilfer. So small college guy, and I knew right away I really wanted to coach, actually all the way back in probably middle school. We would drive to see my grandparents in Nebraska, and it was one of those, we drive straight 24-hour road trips, all the family love going on.
Sure.
My dad would throw me a coaching manual. It was like they would do like Kellogg's or Nike. Now it's like, Nike Coach of the Year coaching manual. And I would just read it on the way, and I just sort of fell in love with it from there. So got banged up in college with injuries and then sort of transitioned right back into coaching right away. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. And my dad's like, what are you doing? Like, just go coach. So.
Was there an urging by your father as a preacher to get into ministry?
Yeah, well, he said that was part of it, but he was a little bit more pushing on the just being a teacher on the ministry side. But
a lot of similarities, though.
Absolutely, yeah. He just said the only difference was, he gave me two pieces of advice. He said, "I said, Dad, I think I really want to coach," and he's like, "Okay." He's like, two things. He's like, one, work for good people, and two, never throw away a good moving box. So I've kept those two pretty well.
So I'm guessing we're going to get a tame tongue from Coach Vieselmeyer.
Yes,
that's awesome.
Absolutely.
All right. So you got coaching experience though at the high school level.
Yes, sir.
And that comes from the state of Colorado, and
first in California,
right?
And then Colorado, yeah.
And you know where I'm going with this.
I do.
A high school that is legendary because of a group of kids that share the same last name. Take us through coaching some of those guys.
Yeah, so we won the first ever state championship in California. California did not play for a state. And some guys came up and said, hey, would you want to start a high school in Colorado? And I'm like, absolutely not. Living the dream. I love where we're at, and so we start this high school from the ground, and there's nothing there. Like literally, it's just a field. So next thing you know, we're trying to start this football program, and then I think 2 years in, all of a sudden, Ed McCaffrey calls and he said, "Hey, I'd like to get my son Max to transfer here." So it was the oldest McCaffrey, and I said, yeah, let's do it. It went really well. He ended up going and having a great career at Duke University, and then his younger brother kept tagging along, and short little guy. I thought he was okay, very energetic, and Christian had just such a wonderful career. Christian McCaffrey had a wonderful career at Valor. My only regret is I actually left before he was a senior. So, but we've linked up since, and then both the other brothers went there. Dylan, who was a fantastic quarterback, and Luke, who now is playing for the Commanders. So,
you coached at the college level. Most recently, you're at Kansas as an offensive analyst back in 2018, but in the NFL with the Raiders and the Commanders, respectively, that is very rare to coach at all three levels. So you're well-rounded. How did the NFL come about?
It was wild. So when I was in Colorado, actually, the NFL had like a little mini strike. I forget what it was. And all of a sudden, some of the Broncos were coming by and working out at Valor. And then Jack Del Rio brought his son Luke to come to Valor. And didn't really have any contact with him. And I'd see this big, large presence lurking around the field. And he said, the coaches all of a sudden started coming on the defense to practice. He said, is that okay? I said, absolutely, come on. So we're sort of hanging out. And then one day he calls and he said, hey, I would like you to come to the facility and look at some film. So what ended up happening was, this is sort of how my NFL career started, was they were playing Chip Kelly, who was the new coach of the Eagles. And they were doing some offensive stuff that the NFL wasn't quite it wasn't sort of the norm at the time. So he said, hey, you want to watch some film? So we started watching some Oregon film of what they were doing. And then, he was like, hey, take me through, because we were doing a lot of the same things. He's like, hey, take me through it. So I started, going on the board. Well, next thing I know, Corey Unlin, who's now the pass game coordinator at the Houston Texans, is up there. I think I was there for like 10 hours. I sweat straight through my shirt because I look back and all the Bronco coaches are there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this has just got real. And they started just keeping inviting me back. And then anyway, was still coaching, and Jack said, hey, I'm going to Coach Fox and I are going to hire you. Well, they had a change at the Broncos. It didn't quite work out. I moved to college, and Jack calls me one day and he said, hey, I'm going to be the head coach. No one knows. I'm going to be the head coach of the Raiders tomorrow. There's a plane ticket in your name. Get up here. Let's go. And that's sort of how the whole thing started. So,
wow.
Thanks, Chip Kelly.
Yeah,
so
for sure. Brent Vieselmeyer is the new UAB linebackers coach joining us here on the Inferno podcast. How did Birmingham come about? Take us through those conversations.
Yeah. So Steve Russ called me and he said, hey, do you know anything about Trent Dilfer? And I said, yeah, we have some mutual friends. Great guy. Met him a few times.
Did you say worst quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl?
No, I didn't.
Okay, he brings that up all the time. I don't think that coach should bring it up all the time.
I got you. Well, that was a heck of a team. So anyway, he said, hey, what do you think? Should I interview? And I said, yeah, absolutely. I think it'd be a great fit, especially with like who the opponents are. Steve really wanted to get back to coordinating, and we sort of walked through it a little bit, and then I didn't really hear anything. And Steve calls and he's like, hey, Trent and we really want to get you there. And I'm like, I don't know. The only time I've been to Alabama is the Senior Bowl in Mobile. So I'm like, I'm not sure. And Steve and Trent, they're good salespeople. So they made a great sale. But once you get here, it's phenomenal. Really, really enjoy it at UAB. Really blessed by that. So
anything that I'm just hitting with this, so it might be unfair to put you on the spot, but what has maybe surprised you the most in a good way about our fair city or our state?
Well, first of all, the facilities at the school. I was at the Raiders and Washington, and those are a little bit older organizations, and I don't think that players understand that most of the money in the NFL goes to the players, not necessarily the facilities and such. And great places, was blessed there, but it's not near what we've had at UAB. So that was really neat. And I think just nice, good people. LA can at times be a little how do I put that? And just very welcoming here. very welcoming. Let's put it that way.
I've been to LA. I would say, it's a little bit of a difference.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of differences there.
Yeah.
Traffic on 280 can be LA-like at times here.
Yeah,
So be careful.
Yeah, I don't know. I disagree with that. But anyways,
not near as much smog.
That's nothing. Come on now.
No. How about managing personalities, though, at the NFL level versus the college level?
Yeah, I think that's one of the big misconceptions, honestly. I'll be honest. Most of the media, unfortunately, hits the guys that have are in a rougher spot at the time or saying some outlandish things. But 99% of those guys, you would hire them for every single job you have. They're pros. They're consistent. They do a great job. They're great people to be around. I have 2 daughters, and I can't tell you the number of players that they want to keep in touch with and miss, and how well they treat people. I mean, I think that's that was great. I just love being around guys that really a group of guys that wanted to come together and do something special, and I think that's really what those great NFL teams were like. So we had that when we were in Oakland. That was a neat deal when we got there. It was in a rough spot, and Coach Del Rio did a great job turning that around. And then the same thing with Coach Rivera in Washington. So.
What's your demeanor like in interacting? I know that everybody's got fire in them. Are you fiery by nature all the time when you're on the field, on the sideline, coaching your guys? Or are you a little more reserved and laid back?
Whatever's called for. I used to be younger. I was pretty out of control, but I think as I gotten older, it's more about the performance of them. So I think that's one of the things I've tried to be better at, is having great emotional intelligence, emotional control, and knowing when I need to turn it up a little bit. So my dad, I watched him when I was young. One time we went in at halftime, and he's like, he tells the trainers, he's like, I want the 4 Gatorade coolers set up right here. And I mean, he went ballistic, broke all the coolers, lost his mind. He had the dad vein, that's popping out, and the spit on the side of the mouth right there. Like, just, when you're scared as a kid.
Yes. And
I remember he does it. Team runs out. I'm a little kid, and he looks right at me. He goes, how was that? Was that pretty good? Calm as could be, So I think it can be very calculated. Coach Valvano was like that. The opportunity to meet him, where he, at halftime he was going to probably break something half the time, but like the same guy all the time. Just knew he was consistent. He'd have his high and lows, but he was going to be a pretty consistent guy.
And that's the key, right? You got to be consistent, because there is a trust. There's a mutual trust that has to take place between your players. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, you're coming in. There's a lot of new faces, so. This is going to be you, Coach Russ, the other coaches on that side of the ball, your baby, because there are so many faces by virtue of whether guys leaving the transfer portal, graduation, or other reasons. Yeah,
there's a lot of new faces. I think there's some still key good culture guys that stayed, which makes it nice. I can't tell you, from starting a high school and a college program from scratch, culture is a huge deal, and even if it's bad, it's still a culture, right? It's just not the same. So that's what was sort of neat. I mean, I just met some phenomenal student athletes there, but then bringing in this group where I think there were guys that, and TD told you, I mean, we didn't, Jalen I recruited pretty hard, but no, it was more of an interview. I mean, it was really, we wanted guys that wanted to all be on the same page, and they wanted something to be, greater than themselves in there. So, I think we got a good collection of guys that really want to do that.
And we're going to meet Jalen in just a little bit. But what is your recruiting pitch? You just got to Birmingham. You just got to UAB. You guys are scrambling, and TD and also Coach Russ, they told us a story about all the video, and you guys are going back and forth on the text thread during Christmas and evaluating players and just countless hours. I don't know if people really appreciate what you guys were tasked with, but just go through that. How did you decide in evaluations? Because that was a really quick process. And how are you selling this to the kids that you're talking to?
Well, I think from the evaluation part, TD has done a good job of bringing some guys in that are excellent evaluators. So we have some guys from the NFL that's their profession. That's what they do. So it's like, hey, can they play? Yes. Well, then the bigger part is, are they really motivated to do this? And are they motivated for just a dollar sign, or do they really want to play football? And that's where I think a little bit more work comes in. And that's just from talking to them. And I think also when they get on a visit and you're there, and I didn't pull any punches with the linebackers. This is the stuff I like on film. This is what I don't like. This is how I can help you. And, if you're looking for, my dad always said that players don't need a friend. They need a coach. If you need a friend, get a dog. If you want to coach, that's what we're here to do. So, I think trying to help those guys move on is a big piece. I think a lot of it, Coach Russ and I, in our NFL experience, my job was to find, Coach Del Rio just said, listen, you're not going to get a draft pick anywhere higher than the 5th round. So you got to find those value guys in there and guys who can really develop. So, we are a developmental program. We're going to bring guys in that maybe it didn't go quite that way in the first school and bring them in and develop them our way and give them a chance to go and play on, which is what we want to do. And then, for a high school kid coming in, I think it's a great opportunity because you get to learn from guys like Jalen who've seen a lot of different things, but now he's really honed in on what he wants and what he's going to do.
I'm going back and listening to our pastor at church saying that with his kids growing up, there were non-negotiables. There were several non-negotiables, but 2 of them were you're going to be at Wednesday night church. You're going to be at church on Sunday. Those that we're not even talking about that. That's just set in stone until the day you move out of the house. As a coach, what are the non-negotiables for the guys that are playing in your position group?
I think first and foremost, it's that every day I'm going to come in with a great attitude. And everybody says that, but I will tell you, every room that I was in the NFL, it was fun to come to that day. I learned that from Coach Norton. Kenny Norton came from Seattle, and it was wild. Like, it was competitive and it was wild, but it was fun because nobody likes that grumpy guy in the room. And to be honest, we were pretty straight. We didn't want that bad attitude kind of guy. It's going to be fun. It's going to be competitive. We're going to move on. I think the next part is just developing great habits. I think with all of us, right? If you have great habits, that usually makes you very consistent. And as a player, if I know as a coach how you're going to react to when I watch a play and I'm like, this is what this player is going to do, that makes you very, very valuable. So, a great one, a great pro, Kendall Fuller, I got to work with Washington. He's now at Miami, won a Super Bowl at Kansas City. You could almost know by how the QB looked or what route it was, how Kendall was going to react. That makes it really easy to coach, right? So trying to develop those habits to make guys consistent, that's a big part. But, that's something that's in process, though. Not everybody has that quite yet. I did not have that as a college student right away. But that was something that, we're definitely here to develop. And then I just think, everybody talks about, not coaching effort. Obviously we want high effort guys, but that's something that we're going to have to develop in all of us because, a job of a coach is to take these guys where they can't go themselves. It's just like, I'm sure you had some New Year's resolutions, right? You probably need somebody to hold you to those, right? It's the same thing. So,
yeah. My wife is great at that.
Is she? Yeah, yeah. That's funny. A lot of them have that ability.
God bless her soul. Yeah. Love you, honey. We continue with Coach Brent Vieselmeyer here on the Inferno podcast. Complexity of scheme, without getting into anything that we don't want to give away, what is that going to kind of look like in layman's terms?
Yeah, I think very NFL model. So I think it's a way that we can let our guys play really fast. That's the big word that everybody uses. But, at the end of the day, if you look at the NFL, the defenses are not that much different. It's what you're going to do within that. It's the techniques you're going to do. It's how you get those guys to play, and it's making complex things very easy. So, one of the other things, I had a coach push on me right away. Coach Hawkins, who was at Boise and CU, great coach. He always would say, Vies, complexity is the enemy of execution, and it's really right. So, trying to make it very simple, very fast, so those guys can play quickly to the ball. I think the other thing, too, is we have to be very versatile. You look at the opponents, you got service academies. You got, Memphis and North Texas and, FAU, brought a new staff. So you have a wide range of offense. A lot of times in the NFL, it's very cookie cutter, or it's very similar.
Right.
Very smart guys, but very similar. Whereas this, we're going to have to be a little bit more flexible with a lot of things. So, when you play a team that runs a triple option, it's obviously a different game plan than when you play, maybe a team who's dropping back 75% of the time. So, a little bit different than our NFL experience.
I know you're going to give the right answer, but I know you're going to give a genuine answer because I've already heard it from Coach Russ and also from Coach Dilfer. But the folks that you're working with in that on that side of the ball in those meetings, some of those guys that I'm guessing you never worked with, how's the meshing of the personalities?
Well, I think. Well, great, because most of them actually I have worked with, which is awesome. So,
right.
TD's been great about trying to get guys that are very like-minded. So that's been a really easy process. A lot of times when you're on a new staff, you got to feel stuff out. But this has sort of been hitting the ground running. So we've done a lot of this stuff together. Steve and I have worked together for a while. We got Coach Mills worked with a while. So I think that's a really unique individual. And you can even watch like some NFL staffs where it'll be the same guys that seem to matriculate to those coordinators all around the league. So, we have a little bit of that bond, but it's been a pretty seamless process.
One of the guys that you did use that sales pitch on, defensive back, he's going to be new in the green and gold next season. He's going to join us next, our student athlete of the week. You're going to want to meet him next on the Inferno. Welcome back into the Inferno podcast. Landrum Roberts, new UAB linebackers coach, Brent Vieselmeyer, and our student athlete of the week. He's a newcomer to the green and gold. We want to welcome defensive back Jalen Cheek, coming via Boston College, via New Jersey. Jalen, welcome to Birmingham. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
I'm going to ask you a lot of the same questions that I just asked Coach Vies and how it came about. You remember the conversation. First of all, what was your familiarity with UAB and Birmingham prior to having those conversations?
Not at all. So this is my first time being at Alabama. Going through the recruiting process, it's up and down. So I got a call from UAB, and I'm like, Alabama, like, whoa. I talked to my parents, and they were like, just go down there, like, take the visit. So I took the visit, and I was in love with it as soon as I got here.
What was it about it, just to you personally, when you got here, that you said, you know what, this is a place that I can see myself?
It was definitely the people, coaching staff, genuine people, great to be around, and they have that NFL background, a place where every college football player wants to go. So it was a no-brainer.
You're 6'2". You love seeing that. They're in the secondary. They don't make a whole lot of those guys.
They do not.
And you're super athletic, and you get after it. During your time at Boston College, and I know last year you were more limited than you were back in 2023. But what do you bring your skill set for the folks who have not broken down your film, like the coaching staff? What do you feel that you would put in? This is what I'm really, really strong at right now, and maybe some things that you think you need to work on as a player.
Right, yeah. I think versatility is very big for me. Like at Boston College, I started off playing corner. I played corner in high school. I played corner, I played nickel, I played safety all at Boston College. So versatility is very big for me. And I think I'm just a student of the game. I always throughout my years of college, I always wanted to learn more. My freshman year, I wanted to learn corner. And then as time went on, I wanted to learn what the front did. I wanted to learn what the linebackers did. So it makes it all come together. It makes it easier for me.
You strike me, and I've been wrong about this before, you strike me, though, as someone who doesn't talk a whole lot of trash on the field.
I'm a very laid-back guy. But on the field, you got to turn that dog on. So sometimes it comes out, but most of the time it's laid back, just making my calls to the corners and, stuff like that.
It's kind of a whirlwind, though, with the transfer portal and with NIL and now I want to get it, though, from the player perspective, because we hear it from the coach's side all the time. But what is that like for a player going through a season and then knowing, whatever your circumstance is, that thought process of the portal being out there or knowing that maybe you have another year to play, what is going through your mind as a player and looking at potential destinations and where you want to land?
I think like as you're going through it and the season, you don't really want to think about the portal. You think about the next game or the next practice that you have. But as you go into it, it's definitely, like I said, an up and down process. Like you may get 5 calls one day, you may get none the next day. So it's something that you have to stay consistent and stay positive through.
What did you learn in playing in the ACC and playing against some of the guys that you played against?
It's great competition all throughout college football, especially the ACC. I think like Zay Flowers, I played with Zay Flowers, and going up against him in practice every day, that was the best play I've ever seen in person. So going against players like him, going up against Florida State, the Clemsons, it's a great competition every week.
Castellanos, I'm guessing that he could be a challenge at times.
Yeah, he's a runner, so and then he's about 5'10", he's behind a 6'6" O-line, so it's hard to see him back there, but yeah, he's a player.
So how's it going meeting some of your new teammates, obviously getting familiar with the coaching staff? How is the mesh process, the melding process, how's that going?
I think it's going well. Coach TD, he's doing a great job of building a culture here. I've never seen anything like it from a head coach, like from the top down, building a culture from him down to the assistant coaches, down to us, everybody in the building. So it's going well.
And look, we're not everybody's different, whether it's a coaching style, whether it's a player, whether it's a school programs, and it's not throwing shade at anything. Places are different. But how is this culture maybe unique or different from maybe where you've been or other places that what we see around college football?
Like I said, like I've never seen anything like what Coach TD's doing right now, building the culture within the team. We have meetings every week, not just talking about particular football, but life, and how he wants to make us better men, better husbands, and better fathers. So it's very well right now.
That's awesome. Let's learn a little bit more about you as a person, though, away from the field. What are things that you enjoy doing?
So I have a son, August. He's 1. He'll be up here next month. August is my girlfriend. So fatherhood, that takes up a lot of my time. Outside of that, maybe playing video games with my friends on my downtime. But, football has the majority of my time.
Are you a foodie? Do you enjoy trying? Birmingham's a great food town. I don't know if you've learned that yet.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah.
We've got really good food. It's not just barbecue. There's all kinds of great food here.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Coach Reese, you're nodding your head. You know that, right?
Yeah, I put on 10 pounds.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, I gotta explore my options, but yeah, I've definitely heard it's a food town.
All right. Well, we're gonna play the lightning round now, and this is where we just rapid fire some questions at you guys. Some will be probably more geared towards you. Some should be geared towards you, and we'll keep score, and we will post it. No, I'm just kidding, but we'll let everybody know.
All right, let's do it.
How good Coach is, and how good. Do you have a nickname? Do you nickname or anything?
Just everybody just calls me Cheek by my last name.
Cheek.
Yeah.
All right. Cheek and V's. Here we go.
Cheek and V's. Yeah,
First,
that could be a show.
First question. This is NFL Super Bowl trivia, and this is going to predate both of us. Okay. Probably you too, Coach. Who won the first Super Bowl in 1967?
Either one?
Either one.
I'll give you a shot.
Man. I'll say the Giants.
Not a bad guess.
I'm going to go Packers.
Coach got it, Packers.
Okay, now listen. I was born in Wisconsin, and when you got born in the 70s or 80s-ish, they gave you your first onesie was a Packers onesie. I kid you not.
Really?
Yes.
I got to go to a game at Lambeau. It was awesome.
It's yeah.
That's legit. That was bucket list. It was really good. Okay, next question. How much did a 30-second commercial cost at this year's Super Bowl? It's
30 seconds. I'm going to go $5.5 million.
$5.5 million for you. Very exact. I like it.
Can I just do prices right higher? No?
If you want to. You want to go 5.5 and $1?
Let's go 12.
You're going 12
mil.
Cheek, you get it. $5 million.
Ooh.
You heard that.
So one versus 1-1. I'm getting a message. I can't read your writing.
I can't.
Off the screen. Okay. Yeah. Good stuff. Who are the only brothers to win Super Bowl MVP?
Oh, Eli and Peyton.
He got it.
Yeah. Cheek is up 2-1 over Coach Vies. It's pretty strong. I mean, you're coming out of the gate pretty hot. All right. Who are the
Giants? Come on.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, he knew. All right, here we go.
who are the what am I going here? Oh, what was the score of the lowest scoring Super Bowl matchup and who played in it?
Ooh.
It would have been Super Bowl 53.
I want to say it's like the Broncos, 7-10. I'm not sure.
It's a low scoring game.
It would be. I don't even know. What we got?
Oh man, I can't believe you don't know this. Super Bowl
Was it the Raiders?
53, Patriots and the Rams, 13-3.
No, I don't know.
Producer Molly's nodding her head. She knows.
I only know the ones they playing.
Of course, it was Tom Brady.
You guys better know this one. What AFC team won Super Bowl 35?
Steelers.
I'm gonna go. Nah. You're going Steelers? That's a good guess.
not
actually.
a bad guess.
That's not a bad
Not a bad guess.
I'm going the Rockets.
Six.
I'm going the Raiders.
You're going Raiders? Mm-mm. You were closest, though. Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, TD.
Oh,
Kind of setting you guys up for failure there.
we don't see that one.
All right, some personal questions about you. Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Early.
Same. Cook or take out?
Cook.
Cook.
What are you cooking, Cheek?
Salmon, rice, and asparagus.
Very. Boom. Okay.
Oh, I'm going shrimp etouffee.
Shrimp etouffee?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I could eat Cajun food every day.
Me too.
I could eat tacos every day and Cajun food every day.
You're all right.
That's solid. Let's hang out. Night out or night in?
Night in.
Out.
Out for you, in for you. See, probably in for me. I like going out every now and then, but out for you.
Just have another kid, then you'll know.
Most hated chore, Cheek. What's your most hated chore? Is it changing a diaper?
Nah, dishes.
Dishes?
Yeah.
That is the number one answer with UAB Blazer players. It's always dishes. And it doesn't matter the sport. It doesn't matter if it's man or woman. It's always dishes. What about you, Coach?
All right, this is going to be bougie.
Oh.
Yeah, California kid. Cleaning the pool.
That is the most bougie answer ever.
Can I listen? Hold on. It was preacher's salary. My dad, when we moved there, he said, listen, we might not have any furniture, which we did not, but we had a pool.
We got a pool.
And I had to clean that thing every day. Wow. So when you clean it and that wind blows, guess what, Cheek? It's dirty again. Every single minute. Anyway, it's awful.
I'm just imagining you're enjoying the pool, but you've got the...
I'd be swimming looking out like, oh, that leaf just
But
fell.
you have the floats that you guys are sitting in the house as your furniture.
Yeah, we didn't have that, honestly.
Favorite vacation spot? If you pick one place, Cheek, to go, where would it be?
One place to go, I'll say Turks and Caicos.
Have you been there?
No.
Oh, God, that's expensive, man. Dang.
What about you, Coach Bougie? I mean, Coach Reese.
It's true. Pre-marriage, it was Mexico, but now it's Maui.
Maui?
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah. Married there.
What is the hardest position do you guys think to play on offense?
Quarterback.
Quarterback? Is it that simple?
Left tackle.
Left tackle. Fascinating. What about on defense?
Corner.
1,000% corner.
Corner?
1,000%.
Home field advantage, or do you like going on the road? Daunting environment, us against the world.
I like going on the road. I like that crowd being silent.
Amen. I'm with you.
Silence in that crowd.
Amen. I'm with you. I don't have to bring this up, but let's win a road game. It's been a minute. I don't know if Coach TD is, and this is, it even predates him. It's been a while since we returned from a road trip with a win.
Cheek and I are undefeated on the road right now.
That is what I love to hear.
We like to keep it.
We're undefeated, baby.
Yes, sir.
High scoring or defensive battle?
Defensive battle.
Absolutely. Defensive battle.
I mean, who am I asking here, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Favorite sport to watch on TV? Don't use football.
Basketball.
Basketball?
Big LeBron fan.
LeBron. Is he the GOAT?
Of course.
Wrong answer, Cheek. That's a mark against you. It's MJ.
No shot.
Is it got to be TV? Live hockey.
Hockey.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You been to a hockey game?
I've never been to an NHL game. I've been to some of the.
We got to go.
Yeah, I would
I'm
love
telling
to.
you, change your life.
We go to
Live.
Fred's game.
No, by Tookie. Oh, yeah. Change your life.
Cheek, you in?
Oh, man.
Let's go watch some hockey.
Let's do it.
We'll learn together.
And they can fight.
Yeah.
It's a sport that I appreciate it, but it's a sport that at its most elementary level I could never participate in because I really can't skate. And that was the reason. Most other sports that I watch, I can do it even at a very basic level. I can't skate. I mean, I can a little bit. I look awkward. It's terrible. Favorite protein?
Steak.
You thought and you know what? You're the second person that thought I said protein. Protein. Professional sports team. That's good. Shout out to Hannah Dorsett. Softball.
The Giants.
She did the same thing. It was great.
It's got to be the Lakers. Come on.
Lakers?
Oh, absolutely.
Braves.
Okay. Well, I was Cubs.
Okay.
Because we had.
You're not a Dodgers fan.
Well, we had antennas, so the only game we could get was WGN when I was a little kid. So I watched
Same.
Ryan Sandberg.
Yeah. Andre Dawson.
Oh,
all those cats.
The Hawk. Let's go.
I was Braves fan here when we watched Superstation TBS. I go down.
TBS was next, though.
Yeah.
Dale Murphy. Yeah.
And I would go and I'd stay with my grandparents.
Old people.
And they lived in the country. They lived in Wetumpka. And I would go down there and spend like a month during the summer. But I would come in from fishing during the morning, come in at lunch. Grandmother would feed me lunch. And I would get my grandfather's big leather recliner. And I would turn on that big box TV, that weighed probably 600 pounds. That was a piece of furniture. And I would watch Cubs games on WGN.
Love that.
So that would have been my second favorite. Favorite athlete? You said LeBron?
LeBron.
What about you, Coach?
The real GOAT, Jordan.
Real GOAT. He played here in Birmingham.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it would ever. It'll never be settled. The debate will never be settled.
Well,
whatever.
We'll agree to disagree. Jalen Cheek, welcome to Birmingham. Go Blazers. Glad that you're with us and a part of the UAB family.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Coach Brent Vieselmeyer. Vies, it's
Thanks.
great to meet you, man.
Yeah.
Let's go to a hockey game.
It's on.
I'll go get bougie with you. I can dress up. I can act normal.
I got 2 daughters, man. It makes you bougie. There you go.
Exactly. All right, guys, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
The Inferno podcast continues.
The if in life, it's a world of possibilities. If you go for a night out with friends, if you can keep an eye on your money along the way, if you know you have overdraft protection with no fee transfers from savings, when you get a low balance alert, it's easier to say yes to fun. If that sounds good, try Regions Life Banking.
Stay ready for the if in life. Regions Bank embrace the if in life.
Well, that was fun. Episode 27 in the books here on the Inferno podcast. We appreciate our guest, UAB linebackers coach Brent Vieselmeyer, for sitting in, and also new UAB defensive back Jalen Cheek. Enjoyed getting to know both of those individuals, and we'll get to know more of those individuals as the Inferno rolls on. A reminder, Bartow Arena, that is the place to be this Sunday. Want to pack it out for men's basketball as they host the hated Memphis Tigers. 3 o'clock the tip, but let's get into Bartow and let's make things unhospitable for Coach Hardaway and the Tigers as they come visiting. As always, we appreciate everyone who makes this podcast happen each and every week, including the talented Molly Robinson, and so many others. From all of us here at UAB in the Inferno, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. This is the Inferno Podcast, the official podcast of UAB Athletics. Blazer fans, this is the place each week to get an inside look into UAB Athletics. This episode of the Inferno Podcast is brought to you by the Alabama Department of Public Health and Pearl River Resort.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Curry Radio.